What's going on, guys? So in today's video we're going to be doing an update on my Atturo TrailBlade MTs 33, 12, 50, 22 to be specific. And so I guess we're going to start the video off by jumping back probably about 2 years ago to when I first got these tires. Picking them up, I ordered them from Custom Offsets, wheel and tire package, mounted balance, everything ready to go. So let's hop back in time, check out what they look like prior to having 30,000 miles on them. See what that was all about. We'll jump back here, talk about them, and then see how much tread is left. So finally the wheels and tires are here. We're gonna go pick them up. Boom, there we are. So sick. 22 by 12, -44 ballistic rages, 33, 12, 50, 22 Atturo TrailBlades. We're all ready to roll. About to go home, get these babies mounted up. 2003 miles. So from here on out, everything, what our mileage is minus 2,000, that'll be how many miles we got on them. So we can see how long these Atturo TrailBlades really last, if they're worth buying and whatnot. So be able to give y'all some feedback on it. So typically when you go to buy new tires, there's the low, medium, and high price ranges. And we'll kind of vary between like Federals to Atturo to Toyo. And so it all depends on what you use the tires for, whether or not it's worth spending the extra money for potentially better mileage, better noise. You know, it depends on what bothers you. If you want to buy some really cheap tires and potentially have to put 2 sets for the same price as a Toyo to go just as long, hey, go for it. By all means, I can totally understand that. If you don't want to have that convenience of having to swap tires, maybe you fork it out in the beginning, get the Toyos, they'll last the full mileage that the others you had to buy another replacement for, even if it was the same price, just to not have the hassle. Totally get it. But a lot of people are cool with going the middle ground because this gives you the good look, which I will still to this day say that this is a better looking tire than the Toyo MT. It's just the Sidewall that sells it for me. They both have the cool kind of center hang. I actually kind of like these because they're not as hooked down as the Toyos, but I definitely think that the Sidewall on these look better than the Toyo MTs because it comes down lower, it sticks out farther, it's just more aggressive the way it's spaced out, especially on this smaller Sidewall with the 22s on the 33s. I think it's all about having a good Sidewall that really makes this look good, because if you have a smoother Sidewall, it just doesn't look nearly as aggressive. I pretty much got these right after I got the truck. I think I had it was 2,000 miles on the truck when I got these wheel tires in, which is crazy. You know, I dove into mods. I did not get to enjoy this truck stock for very long, which is good and bad. It's funny, in the video I downloaded it prior to filming this, I'm showing y'all the mileage, and we're driving in the truck and it's just totally silent, completely quiet. It's so weird compared to now, because now you got the loud exhaust, you got the tires, which we'll get into tire noise in a minute. But it's just weird to go back and look. So like I said, I got these as a wheel and tire package, and thankfully they were good to go. As soon as I got them in, slapped them on the truck, and they've been here ever since. Obviously there's been a couple other wheels and tires on the truck for videos, but still 99.9% of the mileage on this truck after those first 2,000 miles are with these tires. And so I've really gotten to know them. And I would say that some people unfortunately do get unlucky. You know, when you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of these tires sold, somebody's going to get one that's out of round. Someone's going to do this, someone's going to do that. And typically, or I'd say almost all the times, people usually give their negative reactions feedback online rather than positive. So that one negative for every 100,000 or whatever the number would be, it's going to seem like a much bigger problem than it actually is. So there's a decent amount of people talk negatively about these tires, and maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. These are the only set I've ever had, but I want to report they've been great. You know, I had no problem with them being balanced. They've ridden great. They were fairly quiet. I mean, I myself am one that enjoys a mud grappler, so take that into account. You might be way more sensitive to loud noises coming out of your tires than I am. However, I will say that they have definitely gotten a lot louder, especially after you rotate them. They're much louder. Right now we got all the windows up. 60 miles an hour. Windows down, running 62 miles an hour right now. I'll be taking this turn so you'll hear the wind down. That's 50. turn the radio on, you won't hear them. But if you're just cruising, windows down or windows up with it just quiet, you'll definitely hear the tire noise. There's no getting around that. If that bothers you, I guess go buy a Toyo or just don't buy a mud tire. So even the most expensive tires can be messed up if the truck itself is messing them up. So bad alignment, not keeping the right PSI in the tires, not rotating them. All these things really do come into account. And if you're not doing those proper things, it doesn't matter how expensive or how cheap your tires are, you're gonna mess them up. They're riding a little bit rougher than they did, but that's due to me needing to get them rebalanced. But tread's still even, everything is still even. We'll check out the tread depth and the just the way everything looks here in a little bit. But nothing weird, no weird tread. You know, you'll see some people that have a bad alignment or whatever. I've seen several sets of mud grapplers. This tread will be like half tread, this will be 100%, this will be half tread, and you know, just ruined them in like 10,000 miles, completely ruined them. And that's your truck, that's not the tires, that is your truck. You're doing that because you did not do something, or your truck's got some kind of part messed up, something or another. You got to be precautious. But thankful to report, mine have all worn smooth, and I'm happy about that, obviously, because that's going to ensure the longest life. Have I taken this through a 4-foot deep mud hole? No, I have not. Have I been off-road in slick stuff and things that normal us dudes that daily drive our trucks but also like to have a little fun we'll get into? Yes, I have, and they've done great. This truck's never been stuck. Like I said, I don't go bogging this thing through mud holes, but at the same time, your typical off-road stuff, working on job sites or whatever the case may be, I think these things will be absolutely fine for you, and I don't see them being outperformed by any other tire that's like normal tread like this, and not like a bogger or a freaking super swamper or something like that. I don't think you'll have any issues. They cleaned out fine, they've dug good. I've been in some mud in 4-wheel drive a couple times, and I mean, they cleaned out. You get in some peanut butter stuff, you have to give it some gas, obviously sling it out, but I mean, they cleaned out fine, and like I said, I've never been stuck. So I mean, not a super big off-roader with this truck, but they've gotten the job done every time for what I've been through. So obviously when we're talking about 22s and 33s, you're working with a little less sidewall. And so a lot of people have it in their mind, even though they've never ran this setup, that this rides like horrible. And that's just not the case. I mean, we're talking about still probably 4 inches of rubber right here, 3-4 inches. That's plenty to absorb impacts and stuff. These ride just as good as any other tire I've had on here. I've had 20s and 35s. I've had the stocks, you know, whatever they are that came stock on this truck. Yes, those were very quiet, but I didn't see them riding any worse. I actually think this truck rides better with the offset. I think it tracks better on the road rather than having it sucked up in there. And so people will give you false impressions of things like, oh, it rides horrible because it doesn't have a foot of sidewall. That's just not the case. It's just not how it works. This isn't a little rubber band 305/20 on a 22. Now this is still a good tire. This is still a beefy tire. Obviously 12 wide and a 33, as well as Atturos do run small. You gotta watch curves. As you can, I don't know if y'all can see right here, but I've curved pretty much all my wheels, and that's just a product of daily driving your truck for 2 years. It's you start off great. I went like probably a year real precautious. As soon as you get comfortable, it's over. You curb them, and you know what, after that you're just like, wow, that's kind of a stress relief. Now I don't really have to worry about them. They're curbed. I can just don't even worry about it. And now, you know, I've got curb rash on all 4 wheels, and I don't even care. So leading up to that, I was going to say that Atturos do run a little small. So if you're needing that full 33 or 35, whatever the case, you need the full size, you're probably going to go with a different brand because these do run a little small. However, in my case, it worked out good because I am running a 22/12 and a 33 on a leveled truck. Didn't really want, or it looks good to have as big a tire as possible, but sticking the tire out like this, you'll run into rubbing problems. And thankfully, I have I would say probably a lot less rubbing issues than people that run Toyos, because you are working with another 1/2 inch or more tire height. And so back here, right when I got the tires, it definitely did rub. It would completely touch this black piece. There was a bolt right there. I took that bolt out so it didn't have anything to catch on, and it's just self-clearance, this little plastic piece from rubbing over time. And obviously, as the tires have worn down, now it basically doesn't rub. It only rubs when
I'm like backing up on a hill and it flexes a little bit. You know, that whole ordeal. If you ain't rubbing when you're doing that, you ain't running big enough tires, all right? Come here and show the camera how filthy you are. I don't know what you've been in. Gross. So I did want to give my input on these tires in the rain, and as far as my experience with them, here's some water right here. So that was water over the road and we just sliced right through it. So even with the current tread, still no issues with like any kind of weird hydroplaning or anything. Obviously certain scenarios it's unavoidable, but in just normal stuff like that where water was flowing across the road, and some tires you might have problems. These have given me no issues. They seem to be just as good as any other tire in the rain.
All right, so let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. Let's check these tires out. So like I said, and I'm sure y'all can see, they still are super good tread. And this is 30,000 miles, most I've ever put on something. And I would say, just by looking at it, the outside might be ever so slightly lower than the inside, and that's just due to running the wider wheels, turning. You're going to be putting more weight on this outside, and that's just, you know, it's just a given. So obviously I could get these flipped on the wheel to the other side, and that would be good. I might do that at some point, but I mean, that's let's jump to the original footage of the day I got the tires. And so, I don't know, what do y'all think? This is probably 40%, 50% tread still left. I mean, that's a lot of tread. Like, here's our wear bars. I mean, that's still like, I mean, that's still a lot of tread left. I don't have a gauge out here. I'm not being super accurate, but I mean, like, that's still a lot of tread. This one, I did a burnout on these the other day. I don't know if y'all saw. Nothing crazy, but you know, a little burnout. So another like this, maybe a little bit lower on these outside than on the inside, but even after doing a burnout, it wasn't something crazy. You know, just a ton of tread left. We've gone 30,000 miles on these now. I could totally see us, I mean, as crazy as it is, y'all think we could probably go like 50-60,000 miles or more? Like, I don't know, it's crazy. I've always thought, I've never put this kind of miles on a tire. I literally, this is weird to say, but I've always gotten rid of my vehicles before I've had to replace the tires on them. And so it almost seems weird to have bought this truck brand new, and I'm gonna put potentially 50, 60, 70,000 miles on the truck on the same tires. I don't know, that's just crazy. I love swapping stuff up, so I probably would never keep these on that long, but these are the OG wheels and tires for this channel. So I might have to keep them forever, but I don't know, man. I mean, this is just, I've been really impressed with these Atturos. Not sure how I forgot about this, but I did want to mention the real only negative with these tires is they do pick up a lot of rocks. So if you're worried about rock chips, you got offset, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is obviously a mud tire problem to pick up rocks and sling them and stuff, but my truck is definitely covered in rock chips due to these tires picking up a ton of rocks, all different shapes and sizes, and a lot of them will be really stuck in there until you get a pretty high rate of speed, and then, like, obviously due to having an offset, the wheels sticking the tires out farther than the body, it flings them up pretty good. If you don't drive on gravel or anything, you just mainly on pavement, no big deal. But me personally, I do drive on gravel every single day, and so truck definitely takes a beating from all the rock chips and stuff. These do kind of seem to throw rocks worse than the other tires that I've had, just due to the spacing of the lugs. So did want to mention that. Only negative, they throw a lot of rocks. So definitely comment down below. Let me know what your experience with them has been. What kind of mileage are y'all seeing? I mean, this isn't a super heavy truck. If you have a diesel, I can't say for sure whether or not you should put these on there. Obviously, diesels are super heavy and they're super hard on tires. 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to want to run a Toyo or something on a big heavy diesel truck. But for your mid-size and small trucks, I mean, that's a lot of tread, y'all. That's a lot of freaking tread. And I mean, I'm genuinely impressed. So I don't know, maybe it's just the way that I drive. I don't go on super long trips, but I'm also not in the city like doing turns everywhere. I don't know, maybe I have just like the perfect amount of
of driving to put miles on them but not eat them up. I don't know. Maybe my truck's just a miracle truck and it just loves keeping tires forever. I'm not sure. But I guess I've pretty much hit all the points that I wanted to. 30,000 mile update on the Atturos.